So the context for this is that we have been privileged to be undertaking work funded through the National Core Studies Data and Connectivity Workstream, and our work is focused very much on vaccine pharmacovigilance. So that's where the name DaC-VaP comes from. This is work that's happening, across the 4 UK nations, and I think the data assets that we've assembled have proven incredibly powerful and important to inform decision making, as well as generate important research outputs. And what we're just keen to try and do is to share sort of an oversight of these data assets with you, and think about ways about we can maximize usage to encourage others to make use of these data assets. So the next slide, please, Gabby. What we have is an absolutely fantastic team that spans the UK, and you'll be hearing from a number of colleagues. There is a kind of a wider team in the background as well, but this is the core team actually involved in delivering this work, and a number of colleagues I'm very pleased are joining us on the webinar today. So the next slide, please. And what we represent is a partnership of academics and public health agencies working across the UK. And I think that's been absolutely fundamental, really, in delivering what we've been able to achieve over the course of this work. At this point, what I'd like to do is really just thank our funders. So we've got funding from UK Research and Innovation, in particular the Medical Research Council, National Core Studies, Data and Connectivity, which is led by Health Data Research UK, and in the second phase of work in partnership with the Alan Turing Institute and a variety of other funders as well, but they are our core funders. So the next slide, please, Gabby. And in the first phase of work, we really focused very much on vaccine uptake, effectiveness, and safety. And our primary consideration was making data analyses and insights available to government agencies for the UK and for the UK government and the devolved administrations, but also we're relevant to the World Health Organization as well. A secondary consideration was producing academic outputs, and the group has been very prolific in generating outputs. Some of these which are summarized on this slide, and we can make fuller details available in due course. The next slide, please. In this next phase of work, what we're very much doing is focusing on specific areas, so work around pregnancy, vaccine uptake, effectiveness and safety in the pregnancy context, children and young people, thinking about booster doses, and currently in the UK we have the autumn booster dose being rolled out, and then variants. And so this is the phase of work that we're currently in, and we'll touch on some of this work as we sort of progress. Next slide, please. And so just an overview of what we've got planned. So it is quite a busy schedule, so please do put your questions in the chat as we're progressing, if you have any. But what we're going to kick off with is patient and public involvement by one of our co-PPI leads, Jill Beggs. Then we'll get an overview of data assets in each of the 4 UK nations that we've been interrogating. We'll think around analyses, this has been sort of quite challenging, but what we've been able to do is harmonize these data sets as far as possible across the UK. So comparable cohorts being created to allowing us to generate comparable insight across the UK nations, which has been really important. We've begun the process of developing international partnerships, so you'll hear about that. And then what we'll sort of discuss with you is how we're keen to try and sort of open up access to these data sets as far as possible within sort of existing governance arrangements. And then one of our funder representatives, Lara Edwards, will close. So quite a busy program, but I want to keep us moving. So I'm going to hand over at this point to a wonderful colleague, Jill Beggs. So Jill, over to you, please.